good.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We are starting fall, it feels like, just today, or maybe tomorrow. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I want to welcome you to our October meeting. We'll start with a invocation by Mr. Hinkle, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. We would ask that you stand when we recite our pledge. But at this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Hinkle.
We bow our heads for a few seconds, please. Heavenly Father, we lift up our government and all those in authority before you today. We pray for a spirit of wisdom, integrity, and humility to guide the decisions made in this meeting. May your light and truth direct our deliberations so that all laws and proceedings honor you and serve the common good of every citizen. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for your participation. Council, you have your agendas in front of you. Are there any amendments to tonight's agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'd like to add consult with an attorney 143.318-11-93.
To closed session, to consult an attorney. Any other adjustments by the council? Anything from staff?
No, sir.
Okay. Council, you've heard from Mr. Now. If you agree with that addition, and we'll add that to item number 11, actually item 12. No, excuse me, item 13. I'll get it right in a minute. Item 13, if you agree with that, I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda with the amendment.
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor, that we approve our agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
In opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. We'll follow along our agenda. The first item is our consent agenda, and we've got several sets of minutes, along with the approval of an amendment on the Town of Troutman schedule of fees, approval of a budget amendment. That's budget amendments for the Police Department, Parks and Rec, and Public Works. We've got the approval of a resolution regarding a service firearm to a retiring officer of the Troutman Police Department. We have an annexation hearing date set for November 13th, public hearing. We've got a resolution regarding the adoption of the wastewater assessment management plan. And I assume you all have read that, as well as the approval of the resolution regarding the receipt of the wastewater AIA project. We've also got a resolution on the clay pipe sewer system. Again, both of those, we got an update from our engineer on Monday. And we've got a approval for a second phase of the water capacity improvements. And lastly, an amendment to the personnel policy, which we also discussed at the agenda briefing on Monday. Those are all of our consent items. They will be approved with one motion unless a council member opts not to or remove one of them. Council, I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda item or any amendment.
I'll make that motion also, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. We don't have any recognitions or presentations tonight, so that'll move us into new business. The first item of new business is to consider ordinance 3025, ordinance amending the Town of Troutman Code of Ordinances, Title 13, Chapter 130, amending or adding Chapter 130.04, weapons prohibited on town property. I'll now turn it over to Chief Watson for an overview.
Good evening, Council. This ordinance would prohibit the carrying of firearms inside town buildings and their apertures, which would be considered the parking lots, at recreational facilities. If one day in the future we have a gymnasium, indoor gymnasium, pool, it would prohibit them being carried in the park during activities scheduled by Parks and Recreation staff on athletic fields. There will be some areas that they still would be allowed to be carried if you possess a concealed weapon permit. There are areas such as the Greenway and walking trails are protected under state statute that if you have a concealed carry permit, you can carry it concealed. So this would just be changing, allowing us to put up signage on town buildings and be able to enforce that nobody, whether they have a permit or not, can carry a firearm inside a town building.
Any questions for Chief Watson?
Chief, would that include also like a planning and zoning, passport office, public works, down on Massey Street? That would include those as well as town hall?
Yes, it would be any building owned by the town or leased by the town for our government use. There would, now, if the town owns, buildings that are rented out to others, then it doesn't apply to that building.
Any other questions for Chief Watson?
And on Monday, you had mentioned the language for retired police officers would still be allowed to, and/or the council upon notifying you, is that correct?
Yes, that would still, that's applying in the ordinance.
Okay, great.
And you may mention about the elected officials as well, as long as you're notified.
Yes, as long as the elected official possesses a concealed weapon permit. It's similar to the wording in the concealed carry statute for judicial officials and court officials.
All right.
Anything else? Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 3025?
Make that motion to approve ordinance 3025.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion is made, receive a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Takes us to item 9B, rezoning, RZ 2505, Stephanie Payne. Request to rezone 0.56 acres, PIN is 474-133-2044, located at 508 South Main Street, from suburban residential to local commercial. I will now open this public hearing, turn it over to Mr. Van Treska.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everybody. As mentioned, background information here. The applicant tonight is Darlene Payne. The property owner is Stephanie Payne. The property in question is about a half acre. It is currently zoned RS, or suburban residential. The request tonight is to rezone the property to local commercial, or LC. This is a traditional zoning, so no site plan was submitted. The property currently is not in the town limit. If town utilities are requested, they would have to go with the annexation process as part of the town policy. The local commercial district, this is similar to one we had last month, but I'll kind of go over it since it's a new district. It's meant for smaller scale commercial uses, less than an acre. Less intensive uses and service uses what is allowed in the district. It's supposed to serve the local area neighborhood. It allows for live-work opportunities, meaning you can live at the place you work. Located on major thoroughfares or at crossroads, and anything that's more intensive in the use table that was provided in the LC district would be required to be a conditional zoning. So for instance, if the applicant tonight, the rezoning was approved, they decided they want to do something that says CZ in that use table, we'd have to come back in front of you with a site plan and a conditional zoning. The location of the property is on South Main Street. It's to the south of Autumn Leaf Road, which is up here to the north. This is where the Eastway Drive comes in the south end on South Main Street. Property is outlined here in red. And I should say Autumn Leaf Road is right here. On the current zoning map, you can see the area in purple is the RS district, or the suburban residential district. This area right at the intersection of Autumn Leaf is zoned neighborhood commercial. We've got some office institutional directly across the street, and then we do have some business districts right up to the north of Autumn Leaf Road. Land use map calls for this to be medium density residential. Medium density residential is basically intended for single family detached homes in close proximity to commercial areas, looking at about 2 to 3 units per acre. Some districts that are zoning districts that are permitted in the medium density residential area would be suburban residential, which is RS, and town residential, basically quarter or half acre minimum lot size single family development. Looks like I'm out of gas. You go to the next slide. Okay, the recommendation from staff is approval. This is a newly created district, and it wasn't in existence when the land use plan map was updated in '22. We do recommend approval because it's under 1 acre in size. It's located on a major thoroughfare, and it's close to other similarly zoned properties. Plus, properties on South Main Street, we don't really see them developing at 2 to 3 units per acre, medium density residential. Planning board did recommend this unanimously. And with that, I will open it up for any questions you may have for me.
Any questions for Mr. Ventresca? Anyone here from the public like to comment regarding this rezoning request? Please sign in at the podium and state your name. Thank you.
My name is Jeff McMahon. I live at 504 South Main, so I'm Darlene's neighbor. My only concern with rezoning this to commercial is the amount of traffic that comes up and down that road and the speeds that they sometimes come up through there at. With the property not being any bigger than it is, I'm not sure how you would get commercial parking in that size property and not have to back out into the street. I personally put in a circle drive in my house at 504, which I'm one house to the north of her, to prevent me getting T-boned in the side from people coming down South Main over the hill at Autumn Leaf. And I can't even begin to tell you what speeds. And also coming the other way from exit 42. My only fear is someone backing out and getting hit, harmed, and killed. I know 2 years ago we had a Domino's driver hit head-on right in my driveway. Everybody was okay, thank God, with that one. But it literally sounded like a bomb went off, so it had to be a pretty high speed, and I don't know what that was. I know last year we had a dump truck turning onto Autumn Leaf that was T-boned, turned the truck over onto a car and killed some people in that car, I believe it's correct. And then also last year we had a driver that run off the road at a high speed, hit the sign, the highway sign right across from my driveway, took out the guys and dolls, barbershop sign, and then finally ended up stopping up at Fair Serving Enterprises. So he had to be traveling at a high rate of speed. My wife and I sit on the front porch sometimes and just look at one another and say, wonder how fast that car was going, So my only concern with it would be backing out into that street. I don't think it's a safe move. So thank y'all for your time. And
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment regarding this rezoning request?
Did I not have it on?
It might not have been on.
I just wanted to elaborate on some of his concerns. I
Excuse me,
guess,
what's your name?
oh, I'm so sorry. Darlene Payne, good evening. I'm representing Stephanie. I guess it can be a concern for any parcel along that roadway, not just particular to that one. I have reached out to the Department of Transportation. I have begun preliminary plans for parking and being able to ingress and egress out of that property. And I think I can safely do so as I do as every day with myself. I'll make it adequate that people can turn their cars around and go out the front way. I have never, ever, since I lived there for a year, backed out of that driveway, and I won't. But I'm just saying, as a safety factor, it'll be small scale retail. I don't see, you know, a ton of cars going in and out, or us having a lot of necessary parking.
Great, Thank
That's
you.
all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, great. I will now close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Van Tresca. You've heard from a couple of the members of the public. At this time, with the public hearing closed, I'll ask that you consider ordinance 3125, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of the after described property from suburban residential to local commercial.
On a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, absolutely.
I got a couple phone calls this afternoon for some residents, and very concerned about the parking with this rezoning. And evidently, the address is on a curve where the gentleman described there's been numerous accidents and some lives. And it's a safety factor, and I was very concerned about this. And I spoke with our planning and zoning director, Andrew Ventresca, and he has some information regarding, I guess, parking conditions, if this would be approved or turned down.
So, yeah, so basically, any required parking spaces along Main Street would be required to be either on the side or the back. So additional requirements would have to be either in the rear of the existing house or on the side of the house. And being the lot is pretty thin, it'd probably be on the rear of the house. And as Ms. Payne mentioned, consulting with the DOT, if it goes from residential to commercial, they'll be required to get an NCDOT driveway permit, meaning that DOT will have to review it and approve the permit. So I think the issue of backing up into the highway will probably be eliminated from that DOT permit as well.
Is that permitted on 21?
Yeah, people can back out into 21 if they so choose. It's not against motor vehicle law. I don't know that I would do it during certain times of day myself, but.
Just a gamble.
And I'll also add that having the fact of looking at site plan review, the DOT driveway permit, whatnot, it would probably improve what you have now is just a residential house where people can back into the roadway. So if that turns out that it eliminates that risk at all, it actually might become a safer site.
Andrew, the property you said there, if I heard you correctly, you felt like there was enough space beside and behind the house that they could provide adequate parking. How many, roughly, how many cars you think you're talking about?
Well, you're probably looking at like 2 to 3 spaces with the size
2
of
to 3
this,
spaces?
with the size of this establishment.
You say 2 to 3 spaces?
Can you zoom in on that image?
I can't. This is just a static PowerPoint.
It's currently, right now, it would be just enough for, am I correct, one car maybe?
With the driveway, yes.
I think I may have some questions for the applicant and you both. First question for you is, So it says here in our land use plans, the retail use less than 5,000 square feet. Is this unit 5,000 square feet?
I believe this house is much smaller than 5,000 square feet.
Okay, so then that means it would not fall under our conditional zoning oversight for this.
That's right.
Yeah. So then the question for the applicant, do you have that information for what you plan, like your parking plan there that we could see?
I do not. I called the Department of Transportation. Department of Transportation said, because I was going for, you know, it's gonna be live, work, whatever, that they're gonna treat it as a residential property. So my plan was, like I said, it's small scale, and the driveway does allow for, more than one car. We park there all the time, two side by side, at least, and then some room with some, you know, more gravel. But I can see where we can pull in like on an angle and then back up safely and go out like that. Or I can do something like my neighbor where he put gravel in and there's a horseshoe. That's more like what I'd like to do. And then I do have access to the backyard, which I planned on possibly using that. And that way, not like for a ton more cars, just for the
Right.
ease of the customer to come in and out.
So with the retail use, would you be getting delivery trucks or anything like that?
Minimal, probably, product, you know, Amazon, I guess, we order from. Yeah. Like I do now, I probably get Amazon every day.
Maybe like FedEx and Amazon.
Any other-
And could you repeat what your plans were once again for providing for, you know, at least two or three cars that
Well,
can
you-
back up and pull out?
Right, I can go two side by side in that driveway, right? But, so the house is here, right, like this, the driveway's over here, but I've got adequate space behind me and in front of me to remove the bushes and whatever. Have the car pull right up to the, adjacent to the house, and then be able to come back around like this, and then go out. So I have room.
So you would provide this space for, you know, two or
Yes.
three cars, possibly four, to
Yes,
be able to do that
It's
then?
really important to me that people can, not only my customers, but my daughter and my employees, that they're safe to get in and out of that place, because, yeah, I definitely would make it so they can go out front way.
And the-
Not backwards.
The ladies mentioned, you know, FedEx, you know, delivery trucks like that, and as Councilman Jaredesky mentioned, you know, about delivery trucks, so they are able to get in and out in a safe manner?
Currently, not as safe as it will be if I change it. So I really do plan to make it just like his driveway. I'm just gonna copy it. So that, yeah, you can pull in and you can swing around that out. But it's very difficult for Amazon, you know, they have to pull in that driveway. And then how do they get out, right?
Right.
Sometimes the Amazon stops in front of his house and they pull over, between the two homes, or between the two driveways, because they get off the edge enough, and then they'll run my package over, and then they'll jump back in the car. But I don't, maybe once or twice Amazon's pulled in and backed out, but nobody, right now, the grass in my yard is worn, because if I have family over, they pull in, and then when they go to leave, they back into the front yard, and then they go out like that. So, yeah, there's all kinds of different ways to get out, going the right way.
But again, you are assuring us or promising us that you would,
Absolutely.
you know, provide,
Like I said, it has to do with my customers, my family, and my employees. For all safety is very important.
thank you.
So, I would like to make a motion that we table this rezoning until we can see the parking plan and it being in alignment with our current parking standards, parking lot standards of the gravel and/or defined areas.
So there's a motion on the floor. Before you proceed, I'll let Mr. Now speak.
No, just one of the questions was, I was gonna ask if this was approved,
Yes,
do you plan on doing it almost right away, your parking?
Yes, because I live there, and I don't feel that it's safe for me or my family. So the first part of my thing would probably be the driveway. Yeah, because like him, you know, yes, it's great if business, you know, flourishes and all that works out. But even if, let's say it didn't, I still got a great driveway that's safe. And
Right.
so, yeah, I would love to just, I mean, had I already passed, I've already had the guy out to give me an estimate on doing a little bit of grading and bringing in gravel. But I certainly, you know, should wait to pull any plugs until I meet in front of y'all.
So I'd like to explain, I mean, I make that motion to table it to give you time to do the parking plan, citing the safety concerns.
I'd like to mention that since this is a traditional rezoning and
Yeah.
not a conditional rezoning, we cannot base any decision on a plan.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Well, then,
since this is a straight rezoning, a traditional rezoning and not a conditional rezoning, we cannot base any decision on a plan. You just base it on what your ordinance states at the time.
This may affect my decision as to allow it or not, or at least my vote. Would this be a hardship on you, ma'am, for just to wait 1 month and be able to comply with Councilman's request to see a parking plan of some sort?
Well, I guess then I would fall under a conditional use. I mean, a conditional use would be a totally different application, would it not?
That's right. As mentioned, we cannot require her to permit a plan, to submit a plan or as part of this rezoning. That's just not, it's not legal. So, you know, if you would like to table the request and, you know, next month we plan to bring our parking standards back, review them at the same time, you can do that, but we can't require with this particular request, the applicant to submit any kind of a plan that's, would affect your approval.
So you're saying we could table it, if she submits one, fine, if not, then we would make a decision next month then, as opposed possibly to tonight if we
Well,
go this route.
if she submits a plan or not, it's not gonna be part of this rezoning case. She would have to submit a whole new application as a conditional rezoning.
Yeah.
You can recommend to her to come back with a conditional rezoning, yes.
Any discussions we have next month regarding parking can't influence this either.
That's right. It would, the text amendment would be a 100% separate issue.
Well, you know, in all reality, you know, if I saw a plan and was happy with the plan, I would be more likely to vote. No, I wouldn't, it would not be part of a condition and she would not be obligated. But I'm just saying, if I saw something that made me feel better about the traffic situation, I might be more inclined to vote or not vote. I'm not saying one way or the other, I'm just putting out possibilities there. So, I mean, I can vote tonight, I can wait a month. Sure, I'd love to see a plan of some sort, but again, if that's going to cause some tension here, we go ahead and take the vote tonight. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd like to see something.
well, again, I think the applicant, as Andrew mentioned, put together a application based on the current zoning request. If council wants to vote on that, they can. But I don't know that we can table it based on a condition. If you want to table it, I assume you can, you know, table it, but again, it can't be based on any conditions, one way or the other.
well, I retract my motion.
Thank you. And let me say, again, I hear the concern around the traffic, but I also hear what Ms. Payne described as she's already getting 2 to 3 deliveries right now. And so there's some, I mean, we can't stop that today, whether Amazon comes or whomever. So I want you to think about that. And again, I would hope that for her safety and the safety of her employees and her family, she will follow through. So I will leave it at that. But again, understand, yeah, understand, if you're on 21 today, again, I grew up here. I could ride my bike down 21, okay? I am not doing that today, okay? So Nothing against you, Andrew, just saying.
I learned my lesson.
But for your best interest, again, I hope you follow through with that, and proceed. But again, I want council to understand from a conditional zoning perspective, this is not a conditional rezoning request.
I would like to make clear of my statements. I was not asking you to do that, ma'am. And when you said you promised, and then I took it at your word.
Right.
I was just trying to work with Mr. Zazinski. He had a concern, and I was asking. That was all.
That's okay.
But I'm ready to vote tonight, and I do not doubt your word and what you said, and I want to make that clear, and that was not any kind of
Right.
negativism towards your enterprise or what you were hoping to do and so forth.
It's
And
a
I
lonely
understand
house.
what's
It
being
just
said.
doesn't lend itself to residential use. It's hard to sleep.
Yeah.
You can't sit on your front porch.
Andrew, I'm pretty convinced that Ms. Payne's gonna do what she's gonna say, that she's saying what she's gonna do. But legally, to protect us, if she doesn't, do we have,
Well, if this, we will not issue a commercial zoning permit for any commercial use until we get some sort of a plan which shows the parking layout, and along with the site circulation. So it does undergo staff review. So she does have to come through the town, if it's not a conditional zoning. If you were to approve this tonight, and she were to want to submit a plan to get this thing rolling. So we do have to review it as staff. So it's not like it doesn't get eyes upon it. So I don't know if that puts you at ease or makes you a little bit more
This
antsy.
isn't the last step in the process.
That's right, that's right.
Oh,
This is the first.
Building and architectural design and that approval, huh?
Okay,
Well, I do feel, again, addressing Mr. Jarzynski's comments, the fact that our planning department will have a final look before issuing a permit and so forth, I would think that would give, some of us maybe a little bit more comfort as well. A second look, as Jerry said, so.
okay, all right. So is there a motion regarding the consideration of the approval of ordinance 3125?
I make a motion, we approve.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion is made, receive the second. Any other question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
aye,
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The last item under 9B is considering a statement of consistency. I would ask that you read the full statement.
I'll read that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Action describing consistency example, if rezoning to local commercial. Though the local commercial district is not addressed in the future land use map, the request is reasonable and in the public interest, as it is consistent with the zoning designations in the local area and is located on a major thoroughfare that is unlikely to be redeveloped as a residential use.
Thank you. Motion regarding our statement of consistency, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Thank you all for your feedback and, again, really healthy debate, and we appreciate that. So thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is a annexation request, AX 2508, non-contiguous, Donna Chase, Marcolis Holdings, request to annex 20.67 plus or minus acres. The pins are part of your agenda packet, located on Charlotte Highway south of Flower House Loop. I will now open this public hearing and turn it over to Mr. Van Tresk.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. As mentioned, this is a voluntary annexation request. It's approximately 20 and a half acres. The applicant is Donna Chase. The current zoning is Iredell County Residential Agricultural. It is located on the western side of Charlotte Highway, south of its southern intersection with Flower House Loop. Zoning request will be heard next, This is a non-contiguous request, and staff does recommend approval. I know in the past, when we have annexations that are in the county jurisdiction, that we like to hear the zoning case and then come back to the annexation, but I'll leave that up to the board tonight if that's how they want to handle it.
Any questions regarding the annexation and/or the rezoning? Okay. Yeah. Good?
Which would you like to hear first? Zoning or annexation?
No. Sound like there's no issue?
Mayor, just if I can interject, 'cause I did some research on this since the last time this issue came up, and since zoning is being placed in the conditional status, I think it is better to do the zoning first, conditional on the annexation.
Okay.
I tend to agree with that. I mean, obviously, if the rezoning doesn't pass, then they may not want to annex in, obviously. I mean, that's common sense. So I certainly agree with that. Yes, that's possible.
And I think that's our process. At least our prior advice was that we needed to open that public hearing, suspend that public hearing, and then go to the rezoning, which is why, again, unless there's a question there, but if you're,
That's what we had done previously.
yeah. So if there's no question, though, in terms of what council has seen in the packet, then happily move forward, or you want to stay with kind of that process?
Either way,
I didn't.
I don't think it's going to be a problem. But
Okay. All right. If nobody sees there's a question there, then we'll move forward with the annexation. Okay. So anything else, Mr. Van Treska?
If council has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer.
Okay. Not, anyone here from the public like to comment regarding this annexation request? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Van Treska. We will consider approval of ordinance 3225. Is there a motion?
Did we not have a public hearing at all?
No, we just did. Is there a motion?
what's that ordinance number again, sir?
Ordinance 3225 to extend the corporate limits of the town of Troutman.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm
Non-contiguous.
sorry, I'm on the wrong line. Okay. I also move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion is made to approve ordinance 3225. Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
In opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. We will now consider the rezoning request, RZ 2507, C2C Land Development. Request to rezone 20.67 acres. This is the rezoning of the after-described property. It is rezoning it from Iredell County Agricultural to Highway Business. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Van Treska.
Thanks again, Mr. Mayor. Background information on this is the same. This is just the rezoning request that comes along with the annexation you just heard. This is a standard rezoning request, therefore no site plan submittal is part of this. It will be reviewed by staff if the site is developed. Again, the location is on the western side of Charlotte Highway, south of the southern intersection with Flower House Loop. The ABC property that the town owns, where the new ABC store is proposed to go, is just to the north. And then there's another HB property just to the north of that. I believe the intention is to combine all these properties together. Current zoning map, what you see in blue is all zone highway business, which is the request tonight. What you see in white is what's currently Iredell County residential agricultural. And then the spots you see in orange and yellow are residential subdivisions. Land use map, you can see this is not addressed in the land use map, this gray area, and I'll explain why on the next slide. But to the north is a commercial node designation, and to the east, this brown color is high-density residential. So it's not addressed in the future land use map. The reason why is when the future land use map was drafted and then amended back in 2022, the annexation agreement between Troutman and Mooresville, the line did not cover these properties, so they weren't looked upon. So that's why it's not addressed in the map. But I do want to say that the adjacent properties to the north came in front of this board in early 2024 and were both zoned to highway business. And I also pointed out back on the map here that we do have interchange commercial just to the north of the site. So I think that kind of falls in line with what we've done. Property is in the water supply watershed. One of the reasons for this request and the additional property is to add the property to meet the design requirements for the stormwater stuff in the watershed. And then I'll also say that a TIA will be required when an official site plan is submitted. So our TIA requirements require a TIA if it exceeds 100 trips peak hour or 1,000 trips a day. A site this big will almost definitely do that, so a TIA will be required. Staff does recommend zoning this to HB. I think it's appropriate and consistent with the land use vision to the nearest properties addressed in the future land use plan. And also the properties to the north are zoned highway business. Planning board did give this a unanimous recommendation of approval. And with that, I'll open it up for questions for me.
Any questions for Mr. Ventresca?
How close is it to our boundary?
To which boundary?
With Mooresville. Our boundary agreement.
Okay, boundary agreement, it now goes all the way down to Parkertown Road, so the boundary agreement's way down here now.
Any other questions for Mr. Ventresca? Anyone from the public like to comment regarding this rezoning request? Okay, hearing none, I will close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Ventresca. We will consider approval of ordinance 3325. Is there a motion?
I will so make that motion, sir.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor to approve ordinance 3225, changing the zoning classification from suburban residential to highway business. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to consider a statement of consistency, and I would ask that you read the full statement.
While the property is not addressed in the future land use map, the request is consistent with the zoning of adjacent property. The request is reasonable and in the public interest as it proposes to allow commercial development in areas of Troutman where it is appropriate.
Thank you. Is there a second to that statement of consistency? Motion is made, receive a second. Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a text amendment, TA 2505, to consider amending the Town of Troutman Unified Development Ordinance, Section 6.4.5, regarding temporary signs. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Ventresca.
Thanks again, Mr. Mayor. This recommendation is brought forward by staff, and it was at the direction of council. It's regarding temporary signs, and we had a discussion about this last month, and so I'll explain this in more detail in the next slide. Currently, the UDO limits temporary signs for not-for-profit events to a maximum of 10 days. This amendment would lengthen that amount of time and also add some regulations on the size and locations of the signs. So the recommendation is the new language, what you see is what you see in red. It basically keeps the first part the same, that temporary signs are permitted only for special events of not-for-profit, civic, philanthropic, religious, educational, or governmental entities. And then it states that one on-premise sign no larger than a 3-foot by 5-foot is permitted. 2 banners no larger than a 4-foot by 8-foot are permitted at designated Town of Troutman locations and are required to be approved by the Parks and Rec Department staff. And then it states that town locations will be approved on a first-come, first-served basis. So we do have limited locations where the town can post signs, so first-come, first-served for that 30 days. And then what you see there in red at the bottom is it's basically changing the temporary signs allowed to be placed 30 days prior to the event instead of 10. And they must be removed 1 day after the event. So that's the gist of the amendment, and I hope I captured all that we discussed last month, and I'll open it up for any questions.
Any question for Mr. Ventresca?
I have a question. How does this affect signs that will be on private property?
So signs on private property, only one sign is allowed on the property that the event is going to happen. So that's going to be the only sign on a private property that will be allowed.
So basically, if someone, say on Highway 21, residential, wants to put a sign out in their front yard, ham day, spaghetti meal day, whatever, they would not be allowed to do that?
That's correct. It'll only be allowed on the location where that event is happening.
Other question for Mr. Ventresca? Okay. Anyone here from the public like to comment regarding this text amendment? Seeing none, I will close this public hearing.
Oh, I have one question. I'm slow, forgive me. For Andrew. So if, just for instance, a civic group does a charity event, a local business advertises it in their window, where does that fall with this change in the ordinance?
It's technically, it would not be permitted, as it's an off-premise advertising sign, because it's not on the premise of that actual event. Now, we can get into the matter of enforcing the code if we see it, whatnot, that's a whole different story. But the way this reads is, we would not permit that window sign for a local business to advertise for another entity's event.
I don't like that.
Any other questions for Mr. Ventresca as you think about that?
This is one I would like to table.
Are we able to change that text? Do you have text you'd like to add to it?
I'd not in my pocket, but I don't, to me, this doesn't feel like what we're trying to promote. This draws lines between groups and puts everybody in their box, and I don't like that. That doesn't promote community. That's just my take on it.
So
If there's local church or a local civic group wants to do something, I should be able to scream it from the rooftops. This is, it's goodwill. We're not advertising for Walmart here, or something like that. It just, I don't know, this doesn't sit right with me.
I'd like to ask a question. So, to Jerry's point, I don't think we talked about this. When we talked about, so, burritos and ribs or the Fiesta, I can't name it, name, they can't put a sign in their window. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, right.
About a not-for-profit agency doing a spaghetti dinner? That's what this was saying.
The way that this language is written, it does not allow for off-premise advertising on another private property.
Gotcha.
For a special event.
For any event, really. So, yeah. So, but again, this language isn't static. If we want to discuss this further, tweak it, add it, omit stuff, that's perfectly fine.
So Andrew, so I'm not clear now because I thought this was for special events. And we have a different ordinance for actual signage on property. Is this all of our signage in this one particular area here?
This is just for.
I thought we had
yeah.
banners and we had some other
Sure.
sign ordinance.
Yeah, so the banner would be, so let's say Burritos and Ribs is having a grand opening. The banner would be allowed on their property advertising their own event. This is for events that, are special events that are taking place.
Correct.
So according to this is a special event. It doesn't mention anything about an off-premise advertising sign. So if Burritos and Ribs wanted to do a banner for Ham Day, that's technically advertising something off-premise. So this does not address that at all. Like the banners and flags and all that stuff, that's if you're advertising your own product on your own site.
That's separate.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
I come and kind of commenting on what Jerry says, you know, I can understand perhaps, you know, the sign out in somebody's private property, possibly, but a business that would want to put just a little something in the window, you know, promoting it, or what have you, that kind of disturbs me a little bit. The gist of this thing was obviously to give more time for the civic organizations to advertise special events, obviously. And that's, you know, that's where I'm going here.
Leave it to me, Paul.
No, you're going to get
It's a great question, though.
But again, you know, I don't want to, and I agree with Jerry in certain, in that, you know, I don't want to restrict this thing to just a micro, you know, small box. At least, I would like to see businesses that are approached by Ruatan, Rotary, Exchange, you know, be able to help them out in some small way. Like I say, some little sign in the window or something of that nature. And I hate to put this off because I think it's a good thing we're trying to do, but that is something that kind of catches my eye. That could we table this or address it next meeting and discuss it? You know, in the meantime with Andrew to maybe tweak this a little bit to allow at least businesses to advertise for you know, the civic organizations in town for special events, something like that.
My question would be, is that both feasible and legal?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for this one, yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, even what we're
Well, yeah,
you're proposing, is that like, I
yeah.
don't want to jump into a hole that we don't need to jump into.
Doing site safety will be all right.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that.
What'd you say, Nick? What'd you say?
Let it go, let it go.
All right. It's what the council wants to do.
Is there a motion regarding this before we move into closing the public hearing? Again,
Before we close it first.
I did, but that's okay.
I make a motion that we table this and discuss this next month.
Okay. Motion is made, receive the second that we table the text amendment until next month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Is there any direction you want to give Andrew prior to next month?
I think I made mine with the businesses being able to help. I go along with perhaps, you know, John and Mary Smith in their home and, you know, not putting it out in the front yard if that's the will of the council as well. I'm okay with that, but again, I'd like to see our businesses be allowed to help our charitable civic organizations to advertise special events within reasonable limits.
Sure. And if you do have any thoughts that, you know, you need some time to elaborate on, just contact me.
Also,
I'll
I'd
give you a
like to know
call.
how this overlays with our current restrictions to signage in the downtown. Because when we reference businesses, if it's not specific to the business windows or the side of the building, then we're looking at having a banner if some civic organization comes in and having a banner on every property right here in the downtown as they advertise it, just because it's a business, right? It's still a house, but it's a business, and they can just put this banner wherever. So I mean, this is kind of a fine line of the freedom to advertise and just allowing a civic organization free reign to do whatever they want on a business property.
Well, and again, that's the reason I said within reasonable limits. I mean, I'm thinking of something of a small caliper in the window, stuck to the door, something when you go there, something that'll catch your eye, be small, up there just for 30 days, 31 days, and that's it. And that's what I meant when I said reasonable limits. I understand where you're coming from, but that could be put in there to address that so that it's not abused. But I'm thinking in those terms.
Andrew, they can do it now, right? There's nothing against them doing it right now, right?
Based on the current ordinance, we cannot permit that. So we can't. The way it's written now, the way it's written in red, it's not permitted. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying if they come to me to ask for a permit, I cannot give them a permit.
Okay.
Any other directions for Andrew? All right, thank you. We'll table that until next month. Andrew will be accepting any recommendations.
That's right.
The next item, non-F, consider appointment of Michael, I can't remember his, Denny, to the Planning and Zoning Board as inside alternate. It's to fill the unexpired term, Mr. Adney, to fill Jacqueline Crouch's term, which expires 9/14/26. Mr. Ventreska.
Yeah. We met Mr. Adney last Monday, and while I can't personally say I know Mr. Adney, but his resume and background sounded very good and a match for what planning is about. He's had experience in both the private and public sector and in disciplines that we deal with every day. So I don't think it would be a stretch to appoint Mr. Adney to the alternate position of the planning board.
Okay. Council, you heard from Mr. Adney on Monday. You've heard from our planning director, Mr. Ventreska, regarding this appointment. Is there a motion regarding?
Make a motion that we appoint Michael Adney to the Planning and Zoning Board as an inside alternate member.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any other question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is public comments, and we invite the public to address their comments to the council and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anyone here like to comment to the council? Please state your name and sign in at the podium.
Hello, my name is Wynn White, and I'm here with my husband Dane White and also a few of my neighbors. We live on Winterflake Drive, and we are the neighbors that are directly impacted by the new Wakefield development that is moving in, and so we wanted to bring that situation to your attention and really speak on behalf of in total, there's 7 of us that are impacted by this situation. And so thank you for letting us address this with you. And so as you may recall, the Wakefield project was approved in 2023. And part of that development included a critical 100-foot buffer. It's our natural woods that we had behind our properties for the 19 years that we've lived here. And so we're really counting on that critical 100-foot buffer to preserve privacy, reduce noise, maintain natural barrier, and to really separate our neighborhood from the new subdivision. And so to us, that was a really key condition of this approval, and I think it's what helped propel your vote to approve it and make it a go. But unfortunately, Prestige made what they called a human error, and they cleared the woods very badly, and they only left us a 25-foot buffer, which I think maybe is like standard, and so we did not receive the 100-foot buffer that we were expecting and promised.
Or less.
What's that? Or less?
Or less.
25 feet or less. Yeah, it's very close to our properties. And so from our perspective, this violates the approved plan, and removing the mature 30-foot canopy trees that provided irreplaceable environmental and aesthetic value was really pretty devastating to us as neighbors. In late May, I think it was May 20th, Prestige held a meeting with us, and a few other town members were present, and neighbors that were impacted, and Prestige admitted that they made a mistake. They admitted that it was human error. They presented us with a couple different landscaping plans. But while that was a really nice gesture of goodwill, it's really inadequate for the damage that was done with how tall and enormous those mature trees are compared to any landscaping that might just be smaller trees and shrubbery. It's not really a replication of what was removed. So fast forward several weeks late after that, they commissioned a real estate appraisal report, and the results of that report were kind of shocking, but not surprising to us, I guess. that they claim that their new development actually increases our property values, and so it kind of ignored the barrier error and dispute, and so we don't agree with that at all. And it didn't really address the loss of seclusion or the fact that now we're gonna have neighbors visible through our backyards, which we're not expecting that. And then there's also potential erosion and flooding issues that would be caused of this. And I learned that Prestige has a history of kind of similar issues. For example, in a subdivision in Mooresville called Laurelbrook, there was similar issues. Since that, receiving that appraisal report, really progress on this has stalled as far as getting to a resolution. We just recently heard from Prestige Contact that they no longer wish to communicate with us, the homeowners, that they only wish to speak with the professionals, which would be real estate appraisals and the members of the town council. So we feel pretty dismissed and violated. And from where we stand, we really have seen no enforcement from the town. We have no knowledge of any, violations or penalties or stop work orders, or there's been no remedies or resolutions, no steps to restore the buffer. It looks like a desert back
Ms. White?
Ma'am.
Ms. White?
It's a nightmare.
Ms. White, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so,
I would ask that you, again, limit your time to 3 minutes, so that others can have an opportunity to speak as well.
yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
So we just implore your assistance in trying to resolve this.
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment?
Hello, I'm Renee Bostwick, and I am their neighbors. We are also directly impacted by this. We have suffered the same conditions as they have. We do fortunately have some of our own trees that are within our property limits, but behind that, we're left with very, very few trees. And I want to also state that our neighbors, if I were looking at my house on the left of us, they have about 2 trees left. And they had the full buffer behind them, but that's all gone now. So they're left with 2 trees between themselves and the new development that's coming in behind them. And we would like to ask for your support in dealing with this issue, because we have, like she said, we have tried to reach out and do some negotiations with them, but they're not interested in negotiating with us. They also said that they had given us the information about the appraisals, and we asked if we could meet with them again to discuss those appraisals in person with the person who did them, and they said that they didn't get enough responses back from us, but 3 out of 4 people responded back saying, yes, we would like to meet with them in person, and they stopped communicating with us. And said that since we hadn't responded back to them with the majority, that they wouldn't be interested in dealing with us. So we would definitely like your support. We've tried to reach out to other means, and it seems like Prestige is very prevalent in this area. So it's difficult for us as small homeowners to get the justice that we feel like we deserve for them breaking their promise to the city, to the homeowners, that they would maintain that buffer. So we do appreciate any support that you can give us, and any on the town management side as well. We do appreciate your support.
Great, thank you.
Ma'am, again, what was your name?
Reve Bostwick.
Reve?
Yes.
Anyone else like to comment to the council? Please state your name and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matt Sin. My address is 631 Briartuck Road. First of all, I want to thank Mayor, Council, and fellow citizens for giving me an opportunity to speak. My name is Matt Sin. Born and raised in North Carolina, been through the public school systems, K through 12. I hope that Troutman considers me a friend. I've donated over $10,000 to Iredell County Child Nutrition to cover public school meal debt. So the reason that I would like to speak tonight is, I'm sure you all aware, but maybe the public is not, of several people like Jeff Sanger suing the board in town of Louisville, them having to settle for $2 million because they didn't like a zoning decision. In Newton, they just had to reverse one of their zoning decisions and pay court costs for the developer. So the trend in Raleigh is pro-developer, and I worry that their bills are just going to make it harder and harder for ordinary citizens, as you've seen here, to make developers do what they promise. And also, there's bills that want to make people like you all financially responsible, able to be sued. So if the people in Raleigh aren't going to protect y'all, we need to go to Washington to get federal protection to make sure you and future zoning board members cannot be sued. And if the people in Washington aren't going to protect y'all, we need to go get some people that will, because they're not conservatives and friends of y'all. So again, we need to contact our representatives in Raleigh, contact our representatives in DC, and if they want to shift local zoning to just rubber stamp for developers, we've got a saying where I come from, that dog don't hunt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to comment?
My name is Paul Pascarella. I live on 154 North Lake Drive, and obviously I'm here to talk about Prestige. I can't speak as eloquently as some of the others have spoken, but we'd like to say that Prestige wants you to do everything via email. I am not an email person, right? I want to have a meeting. I want to look somebody in the eye and then tell me what they're going to do. And basically what I'm getting from them right now is that they're not going to do anything, right? The one site plan thing that I saw that they had for fixing it had arrows at 4 trees. There's all kinds of other trees there, but to me, that looks like all we're going to do is plant 4 trees, right? And that's going to make it all right. And one of the things they said too is that what they had done didn't affect our home values. Well, all I gotta say is drive down Winter Lake Drive, look to where they're developing, at where our house is at, and you can see all the damage that they have done, right? And I know it's development, and I get that it's gonna get better, but you can see it, right? And if those trees, that 100-foot buffer had been there, you wouldn't be able to see it. Or at least it would be greatly hidden, right? So, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments or to the council? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question to our attorney?
You want to do it now, or do you want to do it during comment?
I'd like to do it now.
Okay.
Jason?
Yes, sir.
Does us as a town have any recourse as a town, okay, to protect these residents of our community with Prestige and Wakefield?
Well, as they're annexed into the town at this point, yes, depending on what the agreement was with the town, when the plan or the plat was filed and approved by the town. So yes, I understand there's issues with possible de-annexation in the future, so I don't know how that would affect it at that point, but as we sit here today, yes.
Okay.
I'd like to possibly see if we could sit down with our attorney and maybe the residents that are affected, okay, and have a meeting to see what recourse we can to protect these citizens.
Like I said, I would need to see what the agreement was. I'm not.
Right. I'm just,
right now.
suggesting, because myself, I live in that community, I'm not affected by what they are, okay? But I understand and I see exactly what they're bringing out and what they're stating. And yes, I was also at that meeting where Wakefield or Prestige said that they were gonna do things. And that, we weren't aware of, that they did nothing. So this is total blatant, non-committal to help you guys.
Comment? Okay, I will now move to elected official reports and comments. I'll start to my left, Mr. Jarozinski.
Are we limited by 3 minutes?
Yes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Well, I'd like to thank the public that did come and speak today in the presentations we've seen, and remind everybody that we have our 5K, Wicked Fast 5K this Saturday. Trailer Treats coming at the end of the month. And I'd also like to touch on the concerns brought by some of our citizens today. They're not just being felt in your neighborhood, they're being felt by the whole town right now, as there's been a small reference to the de-annexation or the presentation of that by Prestige Group. What that means for our town is that that property would be de-annexed and re-annexed into Statesville city annexation zones, which would put Statesville just right in our back door, less than a mile outside of town center. And it would also offer us no recourse at all for any kind of negotiations for the citizens that we have. So in speaking with the attorney, not only to protect the citizens in the case of this de-annexation, but to protect this town and all of the citizens of this town, there was a lawsuit referenced by Jeff Zinger, and that was a huge stunt on that community. It's not the only one that it's happened to here recently. It seems to be a continued operation by developers to annex in, I don't get what I want, de-annex out, and then overrun everything and compromise a lot of the smaller municipalities, as it's happening here. Statesville and Mooresville alike are putting a squeeze on Troutman, giving us wastewater capacity so that we can service our own citizens after information has been uncovered that it's at the state level at North Carolina Diener that we were instructed as a town back in the late 90s to abandon our own wastewater ventures and to partner with our neighboring municipalities, and they're no longer respecting that direction by the state. So it's put the town in a really tough position in the middle of these two municipalities that we need to work with when we're not getting the capacity reserves that we need so that a Prestige Group can move forward and keep their promise to be, or their request to be annexed into Troutman and to build a more beautiful Troutman. So it's like building a more beautiful Thumb for Statesville right down here just outside of Troutman. And I don't think that's what's best for our community at all. You know, there's a lot of concerns that I have for them, you know, all of a sudden shutting the door to communications. How long before they shut the door to communications for the town level officials? It just sounds like a pattern of behavior that's going to continue to grow, and I don't really like the direction that it's going in. And I hear everything that these neighbors have said. I was also at that meeting and listened in, being that we were potentially a quorum. There was no crosstalk, so it was just kind of listening in and being present, making sure that we operate within the rules of law that are given to us as a council. I heard all the concerns there, and there were many more citizens there, and there are more citizens that have been affected since that meeting as they continue to clear into that buffer zone and don't seem to care or respect the terms that were in the agreement that they had on their rezoning and annexation. I'd really like to know what we can do with this, and you know, in order to protect our community and our citizens and the citizens that came in here today. I don't doubt at all that maybe it does increase as, you know, more homes do increase the value of homes, but that's not the point. The point is that they're encroaching on a buffer zone and easement that was approved before I was here on the council, but no less is here on my plate today. And the different concerns around the wastewater and the other pinch coming, I mean, it goes all the way up to our state legislators. I would say call your local state legislators that are right here that serve you. It's about being close to the people, but they also live and serve in this community, and just go to Raleigh for their meetings. Get them on the phone, start emailing them, letting them know what's going on with this developer, because if they only hear it from us, it's only coming from us. Every one of you need to let them know exactly what's happening and how you feel, because you're also their voters. They need your vote to get reelected. Put them on the block. I digress.
Back to this issue. Ms. Harris?
Thank you for all the words that you said so eloquently. And I agree. Thank you, citizens, for coming out to express your concerns. And trust, we are concerned too. I don't live in the neighborhood, but I'm still concerned because you're our citizens. So thank you all for feeling like you can come in to let us hear your voices. We appreciate it. And to anybody listening, please come in to voice your concerns as well. I just wanted to say a couple of things. We had a Cycle NC here on this past week in the depot. I don't ride bikes, but I enjoyed being there for the first time. I think they came many, many years ago, and so it was good to see. I talked to a guy who was from Texas, so it was good to see people from all around here in our town of Troutman enjoying our town. We enjoyed the homecoming parade yesterday here in Troutman, and I was anyway, I enjoyed the homecoming parade with our wonderful town and the Powder Puff game that we had on last night as well. Just remember one last thing, early voting begins next week, October 16th through November 1st, and election day is November 4th. Oh, and the two locations, let me, thank you, Eddie.
You're doing good.
30 more seconds, Jerry, 30 more seconds. Two locations are for in Statesville, Outer County Board of Elections at 203 Stockton Street in Statesville, as I stated, and in Mooresville at the War Memorial, 220 North Maple Street. All right? Did I take what you were going to say anyway?
Fine, I have a bunch to say.
And I'm done, Mayor.
Mr. Now?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just I have a couple things, but first of all, I would like to thank the mayor and the town council on the two committees that we have up running for their work and their dedication on our wastewater and sewer committees. And I would also like to thank the mayor and council people that are working on our new town hall project. Both committees are doing a great job, and I want to thank them for working hard and getting things done. The second thing I have, I'd like to ask Andrew, we have some upcoming events within the town and our adjoining town properties that we own. I would like to ask, do we have an ordinance regarding towing off of our town property that you would know of?
There's nothing I know about towing. I would probably have to defer to Chief Watson.
Because my question would be, is our property, if it's being posted no trespassing or no parking, and then they abuse it, I'd like to see us have the right to tow the vehicles off our property.
If it's posted that for no trespassing, no parking, then we can tow from there because they're violating, the signage and the statute.
Right. What I mean, like certain businesses right now, Chief, have, you can't park overnight, otherwise the ABC tow company is gonna come and you will be charged.
Yes.
That's kind of, I want to make sure that we also have it in our ordinance that we have the right to tow these people.
Yeah, under the law, we would, statutes, we would have the legal right for us, if it's posted no parking, on the property, for us, the police department could tow. We can't tow from private property, but we can tow from town property and then the roadways.
So are you asking for signage on our properties, something towing enforced?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. That's something probably Public Works
Yeah,
would
yeah.
need to get put up.
Take that back to Public Works.
Is there anywhere specific that you're referencing? Is this like the space at Liat that we own, the Liat building, past the easement that's granted to the fairgrounds?
Yes, sir.
So public, anywhere that the public can park that's owned by the town, that's what you're asking for, signage.
Signage, it says no parking, otherwise you will be towed.
Anybody else got a issue with that request?
Does that require a change in ordinance?
Let's look at that and discuss later.
Okay.
I'm just, obviously, we need to have some sort of coordination of where that signage would go.
Next month would be good for that one?
I don't want us tripping over ourselves here, somebody thinking one thing, somebody else on the council thinking another place.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we got signs all over the place, and some we didn't mean to, all of us didn't mean to do, put the sign there. So, I mean, again, a little coordination is all I'm saying.
We'll just put them right next to the banners.
What's that again from the other end of the
He
table?
said put them next to the banners.
Next item, next item. All right,
Any,
go ahead, Mr. Now.
my other thing is that the residents that came to us tonight, we were not aware, like I stated before, of your problems and your situation and the failure with Prestige to come to some type of agreement. The last time the council was, we were at that meeting at our planning house, and they swore up and down that they were gonna try and work with you people. So, not some time, if you can give the mayor and council and our personnel, our lawyer, and our planning and zoning, and our town manager, some time to see if we can get a meeting together, hearing your concerns.
Thank you, we appreciate it. I'm happy to supply more information or timeline or anything that you all need.
Gotcha. And
Anything else?
And my other thing is, on a good note, we have a lot of great upcoming October events. So please come, enjoy. This is what the town enjoys, to see the people coming out and enjoying themselves. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hinkle.
Well, a lot of it's been covered, and good comments. I just want to add to that I agree with what's been stated. I have been down there and have driven and seen what has been done down there, and it's an abomination, to say the least. When I saw it, I was sick in my stomach. And the fact that you're being ignored, being treated rudely is beyond belief. Whether your property supposedly is increased in value as a result of their mistake or not, it's not the matter here. They were directed, and they promised to give you a 100-foot buffer, and they did not do that. And let's don't forget that in the conversation. And they need to make good on it. And I think Mr. Now said that we thought that the situation had been taken care of. I understood about the meetings. I was not a part of those meetings because I'm not a part of the community, of the neighborhood, and we wanted councilmen involved at work. And so, I just understood that had been taken care of. And I am sorry to say that it has not been, but I agree with Mr. Now that, it will be addressed. It's going to be addressed one way or the other. It's just unbelievable what I'm hearing. It's unbelievable. But I'll leave it at that. Everything else has been said, and I agree, and I won't repeat. So.
Mr. Auction.
Ditto. And trick or treat responsibly, please.
Thank you. Just response on a couple of things. Again, as been stated, appreciate you all bringing this to the council. And I won't repeat everything that's been said, but I think Mr. Now is reading my notes. Give us an opportunity to converse with our staff and our attorney, and we'll get back to you. So thank you so much. For some reason, Mr. Sin, I appreciate you coming and sharing your thoughts about HB 765 and others. Absolutely a concern of this council, and we have been giving input on these local issues. We do feel very much the same way that it's better that we address zoning issues at a local level rather than it being done more at a state level. So again, we're part of the part of several organizations that absolutely look at this issue and are in opposition of those bills, and we'll continue to look at those as well. So again, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I also would like to again say to the staff, as I said on Monday, appreciate all the work. We've had a lot of meetings. I'm sure Justin didn't anticipate the number of meetings he was having to be in right now. You know, finance director, he could sit in his office and you know, use that calculator and get the numbers right, but we're pushing him and his leadership, and again, he's stepping up to the plate, and we appreciate all the staff for filling in and being part of that. And again, as I said, even with some of our third-party support from Benji and others, it's been great. And Jason, I don't know that we, again, I'm sure you were like, yeah, it's once a month meetings and I'm good, but we're going
Matt
to.
and I have had that conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. So again, but we appreciate the support and the partnership. Again, council, appreciate all your engagement. We need to continue to coordinate and collaborate and work together for the betterment of our town, and I appreciate the work that you do. With that, I will just reiterate, as Mr. Oxford mentioned, we're coming up on the holiday season. First, I can't imagine how big Halloween has gotten until I drive down my neighborhood and I see people really, really enjoy Halloween. And so I would ask that people be safe and come out to the events that the town has, and we will continue to support and enjoy our town safely. So with that, I will turn it over to our interim town manager, Mr. Mundy, and ask him if there are any staff comments or reports.
Mayor, I have one last comment.
Before you do that, there's one more comment.
There with the trailer treats that we accept applications, I guess, from vendors along that trailer treats, and anyone that'd like to set up a tent or a station to hand out candy or interact with the community is invited to do so. We've had some vacancies in the last couple years, and it'd be nice to have the whole trail full.
Thank you for that. Not vendors, volunteers, but yes, absolutely. If you're with a organization, business, nonprofit, would like to come out and support Trails and Treats, we'd love to have you. I'm sure somebody can comment on that too. But.
Yes, sir. So anything event related, please be sure to check our Parks and Rec page. They do a great job of posting on Facebook, as well as all across town with banners and whatnot. And if you have any questions, just call them and they'll be glad to help you out. Very busy October for them, as well as our other departments. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for all of your kind remarks. Thank you for public for bringing your concerns to our attention. I've been trying to get caught up to speed the last few weeks on that situation, but it is good to hear from the source on exactly what has transpired there. So my card's out there if y'all get that, and just shoot me an email. And we'll be sure to coordinate and, like the mayor said, find out what action we can take and how we can help resolve the situation. I don't think we have much from a staff standpoint. Everybody's very busy, as always, but we don't say we have lots of problems. We have lots of opportunities. So we look forward to that each and every day, trying to better the town and for our citizens. So with that, happy Halloween.
Thank you. Since everybody has taken an opportunity to keep going back, I'll go back to another comment. We've got a couple new buildings on Wagner. They look good. Look forward to celebrating at least one new business opening there, and I really appreciate the businesses who are there and the opportunity for them to start to revitalize that area. It's been a long-term vision of councils here, and it's really starting to come to life. And as Ms. Harris mentioned, the North Carolina Cycle was here, and